What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully, everybody had a good start to their weekend. Welcome to Big Dash News. Welcome to Late Night Giants Talk, hosted by Big Dash News. I should say that. And also, I appreciate somebody already giving me a shout out for the 100th episode. This is the 100th episode of Late Night Giants Talk. It's crazy when you think about it. One every week, 52 weeks in a year. I've been doing this show for that long. So shout out to everybody, man. Quick roll call. Before we get started, though, let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. Give me a thumbs up or just say that I'm good in the comment section. Quick roll call. You know how we do here. Shout out to my man Tony Benino with the early comment. He says Neighbors is obviously our number one receiver, but until he returns, we'll be all right. We got no choice but to be all right, man. I'm holding Harbaugh to his words. If Malik Neighbors is good. If he's not good. We're going to be prepared, man. Obviously, that's going to be one of the first things we talk about. We got an update that wasn't really an update, but they still consider it an update. Soul Glow in the building says, shout out to you, Big Dash, on your 100th episode and the success of your accomplishment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Luann said, what happened to Europe? Nah, Europe is still in the building. You see it. Big Blue Doja in the building said, yo, what's going on? My man Q Burrow brother is in the building, said, what's up, Dash? Was good? Oh, we got some things to talk about. Kate Kayvon is one of the topics. Yeah, we got some things to talk about tonight. Deb Ellis said, good evening. Oh, shout out to Deb. How you doing, Deb? Armand is in the building, said, what's good, everybody? What's going on, Armand? Don Devine said, we in the building. He also said, happy 100. Now, I appreciate that. Luann said, welcome back. Congrats. Now, I appreciate that. Last week, obviously, 4th of July, did not have a show. Missed you guys, man. Absolutely missed you guys. Had some things. Again, this is the dry season for sure. But again, when you're a New York Giants fanatic, there's always something to talk about. Herbalist is in the building. He said, Big Dash, what's going on, Herbalist? Thank you for letting me know I'm good. Q Burrow said I'm good. Don Devine said I'm good. Jim Simpson said, what's going on? What's going on, Jim Simpson? He said, Dash, you are the man. I'm chilling, man. Pete Winans, what's going on, Pete? He said, hey, yo, all right. What's going on? Prentice in the building. Said, Big Dash, congratulations. Salute, bro. Now, I appreciate it, man. Kevin Wilson said, what's going on, Dash? Hope you're having a great week. And I am. Actually, I am. I appreciate you for asking, man. I am having a good start to my weekend. Hopefully, everybody out there is having a good start to their weekend as well. Jerry said, what up, Dash? What's going on, Jerry? Anthony Cherry is in the building. What's going on? Now, I appreciate the love and support. Miguel Franco in the building. What's going on, Miguel? Said, welcome back, too. Now, I appreciate that, man. So, let me go ahead and minimize the screen just a little bit. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Let the algorithm know we in the building. And the algorithm will let other Giants fans know that we are also in the building. If you look slightly, I'm pretty sure some people are watching the UFC fight. I done moved my screen, so you guys, a little bit of UFC in the corner there, but we're not going to do too much. Yeah, I'm watching it. He says McGregor or Holloway. You know what's crazy about it? I'm leaning Holloway because of the rust from McGregor. I don't know though for sure. We'll see what happens, man. I'm curious. Not saying that I will drop everything to watch it, but it's on, so I'm gonna watch it. The biggest said, "Yo, Dash, what's going on?" My man Stacy in the building said, "Continue blessings, fan." I appreciate it. My man Jerry said, congratulations. Born for Sports is in the building, said, salute, Dash. Congratulations on episode 100. I'm just going to say what everyone should be thinking. You are a Hall of Fame Giants content creator. Nah, I appreciate that. He says, salute, by the way. I think the Giants will make the playoffs, but concerned for leak. And that's a great segue because we're going to go ahead and get started. So we got new news about something that we knew. Again, I'm going to say it again. We have new news about something that we already knew. We already knew something was up with Malik Neighbors. I told people before, I don't expect them to week 5. If we get them before week 5, cool. But it looks like now he might not even be ready for week 5. And again, these are the rumors. These are some reports. Who knows where the source is coming from? Obviously, when you saw him at the softball game, you said, yeah, it's something don't look right. You hear news about the second surgery, the cleanup surgery. It sounds crazy. I'm watching Instagram doctors, break down the surgeries and all that other stuff. All I know is this. I'm listening to John Harbaugh. I'm not expecting to Malik Neighbors to be ready anytime soon. Again, I'm saying week 5. If he don't get back to week 8, here's the thing. And I'm gonna ask you guys first question of the night, man. You know how we do. It's participation here. First question of the night. Even if Malik Neighbors comes back, when do you expect Malik Neighbors to look like Malik Neighbors? That's the question. That's your question. Some people are saying they don't expect Malik Neighbors to actually look like Malik Neighbors till 2027. And I can see that too. So for me, I'm going to act respectfully, like Malik Neighbors is just not going to be ready. That's what I'm going to tell myself right now. Malik Neighbors is not going to be ready. If he surprises us, if he blesses us with his presence at some time this season, good. But here's the more important thing. Don't let him come back until he's right anyway. Because if he's not right and he's out there running around on the field, he ain't helping the Giants if he's running around there hurt. So it is what it is. Actually, let me go ahead and put the comments up too, so you guys can see the comments as they go. So for me, remember, we got new news about something that we already knew. Malik Neighbors, the concern is that he won't be ready, maybe at all. We'll see what happens. My man Jerry has said week 9. Listen, right now it is what it is. I can't worry about Malik Neighbors. I watched Jackson Dart play without Malik Neighbors last year. And I will say that this year, the wide receiver room is better than last year. You know, obviously, whenever Malik Neighbors gets back, obviously he makes the New York Giants better, but it is what it is. Deb Ellis says, not this year. Yeah, I don't expect him to look like Malik Neighbors either. Wow, what a knockout. Or is that a recap? Oh, that's a recap. I'm bugging. Okay, Don Devine says, after the bye. Born for Sports says, salute to the chat. Miguel Franco says, so Jalen Hyde is staying. Nah, it's not happening. Unfortunately, I still don't believe that Jalen Hyde makes a team, even if Malik Neighbors starts on the pup. I think that well has really run dry, and it is what it is. Luann says, just tired of these injuries. Giants always had bad luck with injuries. We do, and they need to fix some things. Pete Winer says, knew it was going to take Neighbors a bit. Yeah, you saw him, man. As soon as we saw him at the softball game, we knew something was up. And he want to go hobble to the first plate and hobble. Nah, man, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. Sit down and heal up. I don't want to see you. He had the Rubens party with Odell, the white party. They sitting there. Listen, sit down somewhere or rehab somewhere. It is what it is. It is what it is. Stacy says, let Neighbors get fully healthy. The wide receiver room is good. Dart has weapons. In fact, Slayton can sit for a while too. You forgot the LOL after that. I'm going to add that. Listen, man, I'm worried about Malik Neighbors. Of course I am. Obviously, Neighbors makes that wide receiver room better. But I'm telling you right now, Neighbors is not the engine that keeps this car running. I'll tell you that right now. And I say that respectfully. And hopefully, people understand what I'm saying when I say that. Malik Neighbors is the absolute beast, monster. I'm just saying right now, for what the New York Giants need in 2026 and what the plans are, I would love to have him. But it's not the end all be all for me. I'm too committed right now to this Giants team being better in 2026 to let a player, a very, very good player, stop that momentum. Q Burrow says there's no news that's good news, like Gary knew. He says, I forget where I got that from without showing my age. Listen, flew right over my head. That's not one that I have in the memory. Don Devine says, you see the clip of Bleacher Report where Diggs called out other wide receivers. I watched the whole special on Stephon Diggs, man. Obviously, he was going through things off the field. A lot of things, that man has some stuff going on. But he has his own YouTube channel. I watched a couple of his videos. Obviously, he's showing himself working out, getting back in football shape, waiting for his next opportunity. Talking about, how people switched up on him and stuff like that. Listen, man, when you out there acting a fool, foolish things happen. When you put yourself in situations happen. Hopefully he learned from that. He's still a very talented wide receiver. He's going to get picked up somewhere. It's just that I think what they're doing right now, they're going to make that man, sweat a little bit and see if they can bring that price down. Because right now he still believes that he's a top wide receiver in the league, and he wants the pay to reflect that. But again, we saw this league moves on very, very quickly. And obviously he played last year and actually performed pretty well last year. And it's funny to me that the New England Patriots didn't just bring him back, which they should, in my opinion, bring him back. You want Drake Mayer to continue to develop, then you bring Diggs back. But for him, I don't know, man. Maybe the off the field stuff is just too much. And listen, the Patriots, not only is Diggs got stuff going on, Vrabel, his off the field stuff is crazy too. So we'll see what happens with that. What's going on, LT? It says mighty New York Giants. That's a fact. Shout out to the New York Giants. Pete Weiner says, dude, got the jaw. But yeah, I was watching. I'm watching a little bit. I'm trying to. Born for Sports says Harbaugh got a plan. Harbaugh got a plan. Smash mouth, point of attack football on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I'm ready. Listen, man. I believe everything that Harbaugh says as far as preparation, about the mindset, about having guys that want to play football. I was watching some of the times, you get busy. I got a bunch of videos that I wanted to catch up on from the New York Giants, and it was a player interviews from the combine, and I forget which player it was. They asked Harbaugh, what does he do, on his day off? He says football. We do football. No days off. Every day is football, and I love it, man. And you figure that man's 63 years old, and every day is football, 24/7. 365. I love it. We got a real coach in the building, man, with a track record, and I'm going to believe it till I don't. And right now, I'm totally drinking the Kool-Aid right now on Harbaugh. Now, what happens on the field, we have yet to see. JJ the King, what's going on? He says, I'm getting sick of these ESPN analysts saying the most outrageous. Listen, speaking of that, and you guys, if the people that are in the tri-state area, I just saw it today what Bart Scott said. What Bart Scott said about Jackson Dart and Geno Smith, and he would take Geno Smith over Jackson Dart right now. Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. He was saying all that, and I was watching the clip like, man, he's bugging. But he made it. He said everything about Geno Smith right now is better than Jackson Dart. He would take Geno Smith right now, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, yo, this man is bugging, man. I don't like to joke around with ailments and stuff like that, so I'm not going to make the obvious joke that a lot of people say, when it comes to football players out of respect. But the man is bugging. He's wilding. Geno Smith, man. Geno Smith who can't stay anywhere right now. And even when he had a good season, they got rid of him. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. And you telling me you're going to take Geno Smith over Jackson Dart. But also, that wasn't the only thing that he said in that clip. He talked about the Jets pretty much all around are a better team than the New York Giants. Better offensive line is what he said. And again, I believe Andrew Thomas, top 3, left tackle in the league. If I'm looking at the rest of that Jets offensive line, I can give them some grace, show them some grace. But listen, man, I'm not conceding to the Jets at all. They forever will be the little brother. I don't want to hear anything else about it. Get a Super Bowl in this millennia. And then actually, even after that, I can't talk about it. Luann says Burns made number 9 on the list as I saw that. And salute to him, man. Again, we got some players on the squad, man. There's some players on the squad that if they continue to get better, if they continue to develop, this team should be in the right place. The right place. I'm not jumping out the window yet. We'll see what happens. Pete Weiner says, please, no Diggs. He's down with Diddy. I'm gonna pause that already. No Diddy. Rev, what's going on? Rev said, what up, fellas? There's women in here too, Rev. So shout out to the ladies in the building as well, Rev. But shout out to my man, Rev. How you doing? Book and Tackle says, are we locked in spin mode? I don't think so. What happens is, you deal with injuries, but other than that, unless spin mode means something else. But other than that, I think we good, man. Thank you for the congratulations, Rev, too. Pete Weiner says ESPN hates New York sports. Man, they wouldn't be an ESPN without New York sports. Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. But guess what? Everything has to be news, man. Last week it was Mina Kimes talking about the Giants and Malik Neighbors, and then you got other sports analysts talking about it too. So again, sometimes they say no news is good news. Sometimes all news is good news, even if it's bad news is good news. So as far as that goes, I'm not worried about ESPN too much. But when they get absolutely disrespectful is when I got to start talking about things and putting out videos and ranting about certain stuff. JJ says Geno was trash. That's what I thought too, man. But Bart Scott, for some reason, is sitting here acting like Geno Smith about to take the Jets somewhere. I don't know. Bully Bill, what's going on? Said, what up? Dash just got here, man. We just getting started, man. We just getting started, man. We talked about Neighbors a little bit and the injury, and we got new news that we already knew about the injury and him not being ready. But Luann said, you said it best, Luann. You said it best. There was a point in time where I actually wanted Bart Scott as a linebacker for the Giants too, man. When he left the Ravens and he ended up going to the Jets, man. We were starving for linebackers at that time. I was going to take any linebacker, but he guess what? It's a hot take, and you know what? People need ratings. They need hot takes. It gets reactions, and look what I'm doing. I'm giving what he said life when I shouldn't be giving it life at all. Pete Weiner says, keep doubting New York sports like the Knicks, underdog, strong. Yeah, listen, we all right. We all right. Daniel, what's going on? Daniel said, what up, Dash? What's going on? How you been? You good? We good, man. Bully Bill says, see the black jersey mock up I sent you? Yes, I did see it. And I liked it. I think I commented. I put the fire emoji on it. I saw that. Listen, I'm down for almost any kind of new jersey that we can get. If it's rotational, if it's an alternate, if it's a color rush, whatever. I need to see something else. Maybe not need. Need is such a strong word, but I would like to see another jersey. I would like to see it. Shout out to Anthony Cherry with the $2 super chat. Didn't say much, but thank you for the love and support. Shout out to my man Joe First with the $20 super chat. He said, big respect for Dash. Guy spends 20 hours a week making content and talking to you guys. Let's get some support going. Buy some swag, do a super chat, anything to keep the train rolling in 2020 into 2027. Let's show him some appreciation. I appreciate the love and support as always, Joe Ferris. And again, I see you be making rounds, man. Especially shout out to you. You was hanging out on a couple of Tim's streams, and we got a chance to go back and forth. But it's always love on my man Joe Ferris. Shout out to my man Jay First. Daniel B. West says, I'm blessed, Dash. Hope you're good. So who's the number one wide receiver if Neighbors is out? That's a fantastic question. Shout out to my man Paul in the building, too. I see you. You know what? You're not going to want to hear it. In all honesty, if Neighbors is out, the number one receiver by default is Slayton. And then you got Mooney. And then you got Austin. But depending on how good Odell plays, you throw him in the mix too. You got Malachi Fields. So there's options there. Isaiah likely too. I would say that. I would definitely say that. But then I'm curious to see what goes on in training camp and also what goes on in the preseason. Somebody is gonna, make their way to the front of the line. And I can't wait to see who that is. But again, last year we didn't see Malik Neighbors either. So I just need Dart to do what he's been doing and making people around him better. If he can get 100 yards at a Gunnar Olszewski, then he can get 100 yards at a lot of the people that's on this roster right now, no doubt in my mind. Bully Bill says, got to get Big Dom on the live. Shout out to Big Dom, man. Shout out to Big Dom. He doing this thing on Instagram, man. Shout out to him. But if he's listen, I'll reach out to him. I like Big Dom too. He's doing this thing right now too, man. He putting out a lot of content steady on Instagram. I don't know if he's on YouTube or not. I had to check that out. But definitely shout out to Big Dom. T Tom says, just getting on. Did I miss a lot? Now we only talked about the first three subjects or the first three topics, man. Got through those pretty quickly. Again, we talked about Neighbors in the new news. That's not really new news. Bart Scott making egregious comments about taking Geno Smith over Jackson Dart, and Geno Smith is better than Jackson Dart, and the Jets are better than the Giants. Yeah. Bugging. Shout out to my man Lorenzo Pipes in the building. Said, what's good, Dash? What's going on? Big Blue Nation definitely in the building. T-Tom says Slayton is the number one. Yes, he is by default. It just is what it is. And I know Joe Ferris hates when I say that. It is what it is. And I stumble over Joe Ferris's name because sometimes it's Jay Ferris, the letter J and Ferris, and then sometimes it's Joe Ferris. I'm talking about the same person. So whether it's Jay or Joe, I understand your name is Joe, but sometimes it comes across as Jay Ferris, but it's all love. Q Burrow said, no, not Slayton. Pete said, no, not Slayton. Daniel B said, Odell number one. Come on. No, listen, I'm not. You see, I waited. I named 5 people before I talked about Odell Beckham. 5 people. And literally, it's like 5 people in front of Odell. So, that's what it is. Odell being number 1 in 2026, not in the cards for me. But again, we'll see what happens. I think whoever's in the slot is going to be the number 1 wide receiver regardless. They're going to get the majority of the targets because that's the way Jackson Dart plays. And depending on this West Coast offense, how they're going to run it and call it, whoever gets open first or is in the closest proximity of Jackson Dart or can wave their hands wild enough to get Jackson Dart's attention is getting the ball. Rev says Malik is my dude, but the world doesn't stop. It doesn't stop spinning at all, man. Let me tell you, it could be humbling for Malik Neighbors to have to sit out as long as he did and then not be ready for 2026 and sit out a little bit longer. It might be humbling, and it might do something where, he gets that hunger back. I'm not saying that he lost his hunger, but I'm just saying maybe the want to play football, to get back to football at 100% might fuel him to, to put in that extra effort, extra work. Paul says Neighbors might be done for 26. We just have to accept it. Now, I already accepted it. When I said that he wouldn't be ready to week 5, that was me sharing, some optimism of week 5. I never thought it was going to be week 1, ever. I don't care what Joe Shane was trying to cook up and sell to people. But Joe Shane was, nobody ever believed you when you said Malik Neighbors is on schedule for week 1. Nobody, well, maybe some people did. Can't speak for everybody. Maybe some people did, but as soon as you saw Malik Neighbors at draft night on the Bleacher Report stream and the way he was moving around, I said, yeah, that man ain't gonna be ready. He's not gonna be ready. Luann says Slayton is not a bad wide receiver. Hey, all Giants. He says, hey, all wide receivers drop balls, but I like the great catches Slayton does. And that's the part that upsets me the most, Luann, is that he'll drop the easy ones. And then you'll see him down the sideline spinning backwards with a one-handed catch while he's dragging his feet to stay in bounds. And he's sitting here like, how does he do that but drop the easy one? Same thing was Saquon was the same way too. Saquon to make some crazy catch and then drop the easy ones too. But the whole point is Slayton has made enough plays where you sit there like, yeah, maybe he can clean things up. And then he lets you know for sure that it's not working. You see him drop touchdown pass after touchdown pass in the breadbasket, and he just sitting like, yeah, no. He got to prove me wrong. But I understand because last year, you guys that was watching last year, I said all Slayton has to do is get 75 catches. If he can get 75 catches, he can have 1,000 yards. And look what happened. Fell on my face again. And I'm getting tired of falling on my face. 100%. Thunder, what's going on? He says, it is what it is. Jay Ferris, we know. Yeah. Jay Ferris hates it, man. It is what it is, though. Tom said, nah, Dash, you don't like that Darren Slayton's talk. Listen, I don't like it either. So if we don't like it, that means somebody else got to step up and there's more options than what we had last year. You got Mooney, you got Austin, you got Malachi Fields, right? You got these guys. You got Odell Beckham. Who knows? Juju Smith-Schuster with Neighbors starting on the pup. Maybe he makes a team. Maybe somebody that we're not even talking about gets released and we pick them up. I don't know what's going on. But we'll see what happens. He says, Darius Slayton, number 1 wide receiver, 9, not Mr. Butterfingers. Listen. Luann said Bart will eat his words, man. Bart been eating a lot of stuff, man. And he's bugging. He's absolutely bugging. There. I'm sitting there watching, and I'm amazed. And they cut him short too because he couldn't remember Malik Neighbors' name when he was saying that it was a toss-up between Garrett Wilson and Malik Neighbors. And listen, I like Garrett Wilson a lot. But you talking about a Garrett Wilson that's a 100% and then Malik Neighbors that's 100%. I don't think it's close. But who knows what Malik Neighbors is going to look like? And I wouldn't mind having Garrett Wilson either. So I'll keep it respectful. But come on, man. He kept on burying himself deeper and deeper. Pause. Tom says Slayton is a number 3. He's a bum. How is he still on this team? It's amazing to me because of the price tag. That's why he's still on the team. Because we paying him, $12 million. That's why he's still on the team. And you can't move it. He got the Giants by the balls, man. Let's just be honest. That's what's going on. If you were able to save money off of Slayton, or if there was a trade market for Slayton, he probably would have been moved already. but he got the whole Giants organization by the balls. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing with him. So now he's still on the team. He's still on the team, man. I'm thinking about that question now about, what the wide receiver room looks like, and a dark horse that might be stepping up. Oh man. No, it's just a regular people. It's just a regular people. JJ the King says, I would rather catch COVID than have Slayton as my wife. That's crazy. I would rather catch COVID. Bully Bill says, what does training what date does this 29th? What date does training camp start? It's 29th. It is the 29th, and that first practice is not open to the public, but then you got like 3 straight practices after that open to the public, and then they take a little bit of a break, and then you got 3 more. I think, do I still have, let's see if I still have no, I don't have it. I had the graphic before for the practices, but I don't have it up right now. But it's all right. But yeah, the 29th is when it starts, man. We still got a couple more weeks, man. A couple more weeks before we actually see the New York Giants out there on the field. Shout out to Bobby Skinner too, man. Bobby Skinner had a 24-hour live stream early on this week. I got a chance to chop it up a little bit with him in the first 6 hours of the show. I was on there for about 40 minutes. I got a chance to talk some football with Bobby Skinner. So if you haven't got a chance to go back and watch that, I wish I had a timestamp for you, but I don't. It was about maybe, I think it was about the 6 hour mark. No, actually, I'm lying. No, I think it might have been the 6 hour mark in there. So we'll see what happens if you guys want to go look for that, or Bobby clip something up. But we had a nice conversation about expectations and stuff like that, and we're gonna get into that too. Daniel B. West says, JJ, yeah, those jerseys are sick. Need both. Yeah. Listen, I hated the red jerseys, right? I hated the red alternates. I like the white jerseys with the red numbers. I always liked those, but I hated the red alternate because I felt like we always lost in the red alternate jersey. But right now, to the point where I'm at right now, I'll take anything right now when it comes to these jerseys. Give me something. Just give me something, Giants, please. Give me the Giants on the helmet. We've been asking for that, man. Give me the Giants on the helmet, and maybe I'll relax a little bit. I can do that. Shout out to my man Jay Ferris with the 1999 super chat. It says, man, it feels like the scene in Mission Impossible. You talk bullish all summer as a young black man, pull off your mask on Christmas Day, and it's Paul Tatino underneath. You got to chill. What did I say? I ain't say nothing. I didn't do a prediction. That's going to be at the end of the show where I talk expectations. You should have saved this one for a little bit later. It is what it is at the end of the day. For real. And pause that. Get all of them. You get all of the sayings. Josiah says Dash, Odell, and Devontae are the same age. Adams had 789 yards and 14 touchdowns. I think Odell can stay healthy. He can match that. I'm not going to say anything as far as expectations for Odell Beckham. I'm not expecting a whole lot. For me to say that he couldn't put up those numbers, I'll be bugging if I say he couldn't do it, like it was impossible. I don't think it's likely. Also, it also depends on, the development of Jackson Dart, being able to spread the ball around a lot. 789 yards. That's more than, some people can even think about when you really think about it. Because for a wide receiver 1, yeah, cool. Wide receiver 2, 789 yards. That's cool too. For wide receiver 3, 4, 5, getting 789 yards. I don't know about that. 14 touchdowns too. I don't know about that. But again, never say never. I'm not going to say that. Luan says neighbors will be in the playoffs. I hope so. I hope so. I hope the Giants are playing long enough or playing well enough to get into the playoffs, and Neighbors is good to go. Listen, Neighbors is coming back in 2026. We just don't know what he's going to look like. And we don't know when exactly he's coming back. But he's definitely going to be back in 2026. And if the New York Giants do make it to the playoffs, he better be playing. He better be healthy enough to go then, because that's past a year. It's a year of some change. So hopefully we do. Thunder says, yeah, Daniel Jones fans believe. Yeah, man. I don't know. Don't know. Paul says Dart made magic without Neighbors last year. I think he can do it again with the better cast. That's my point too, man. And that's ultimately what I'm going to stick to right now, because again, it's not the end all be all with Malik Neighbors, man. It's not, man. And you're building a team to run the ball. That's what Harbaugh is doing. These guys are fighting, and it's about to get called off. Go ahead, call it off. He ain't even fighting back. Make it through the round. Oh wow, he couldn't last one more second. Pause. That's crazy. Nova Nebula in the building. What's going on, Nova? What's going on? He put the beats on, buddy. Thunder says, "Oh, I'll keep reminding you about Slayton." I'm not. Listen, man. Again, and it would be such a Slayton thing to do too, man. For Slayton to actually go out there and have a good season when everybody is sitting here waiting for him to disappear. It would be such a Slayton thing to do. Shout out to Big Blue Reborn in the building. Said Big Dash knows what. He said, "What's good? You going to no, I'm not going to training camp. You're not catching me in West Virginia. I'm sorry. It was already hard enough to travel across country to get to the regular practices at MetLife. I'm not going to West Virginia. At least when I go to Jersey, it's family there. I can go hang out with family and do this. West Virginia? To sit in them old overpriced hotels and pay crazy prices for parking, and I don't even know what they're eating up there. What? But shout out to everybody that is going out there. It's a lot of Giants people going out there. More power to you. Guess what? I'll be tuning right in to see what the reports are. I'll be tuning right in. But I'm not going to West Virginia. Ain't nothing wrong with West Virginia. West Virginia, I'm sure, is a beautiful place. I'm not going, though. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially if I got to pay for it. Extra? Nah, I'm not doing that. If MetLife is one thing, going all the way to West Virginia, nah, I'm sorry. I've been through West Virginia 2 times on my way to Alabama as a kid. Yeah, that's it. T-Time, first time I saw a all-you-can-eat KFC was in West Virginia. Never seen an all-you-can-eat KFC until I was in West Virginia. This was like 1999, possibly. Maybe 99, maybe 2000. All-you-can-eat KFC in West Virginia, 1999. Yeah. Somebody let me. If I'm lying, I'm flying. That's what I saw when I walked in there. It was nothing but cowboy hats and cowboy boots. Yeah, I was not comfortable. T-Tom says, Slayton had a shot last year. I feel we are forgetting about Fields and Likely. That's what it is, man. If you ask me who's going to get the majority of the targets, again, I'm going to say the slot receiver, and I'm going to say, Likely is a default wide receiver, big slot receiver. So yes, these guys, like, there's going to be enough players, receivers out there making plays for Dart to, distribute the ball. Excuse me, and yeah, I'm not worried about it that much. Now, obviously, you lose the big plays of Malik Neighbors because he's not going to be on the field. But just think about it, man. As soon as he gets back, off to the races, man. And then you figured there's no crutch for Jackson Dart to lean on, so he got to develop as a pure passer. Because again, unless somebody steps up and has a fantastic year, crazy year, he's going to be distributing the ball pretty much evenly. There's nobody on the team right now in that wide receiver room healthy that can sit there and say, throw me the damn ball like Terrell Owens or something like that. Nobody. There's nobody that can get in Jackson Dart's face and demand the ball. No, it's going to get spread around, and I like that as far as the development of a young quarterback. Nova Nebula says Giants have plenty of viable pass catching options. I'm really tired of hearing otherwise. Yeah, listen, it's just that we forget about things and we just think about the shiny things. And we really got some weapons. I'm not afraid to say that. If you want to call me bullish, Jay Ferris, I'm bullish on the New York Giants having enough talent for to put up points and to not blame the wide receiver room or the running back room or the tight end room and stuff like that. I'm not going to say that we're sitting here void of talent. No, there's enough talent to make plays. If Jackson Dart made plays last year with that cast around him, there's no reason why he can't make plays with this new cast around him when everybody says he's better. All right, you know what? This is not on here. It's not on here, but we can talk about it too because a lot of people are down, and I do apologize for some of the comments that I might miss. But just let me know in the comment section, yes or no. I'm going to name some players that we added, and you let me know yes or no if it's an upgrade or not to somebody that we lost, right? And we can start with the wide receiver room, right? Wide receiver room, we added Malachi Fields. Is that an upgrade to that wide receiver room? Let me know. Just a yes or no is an upgrade to the wide receiver room. Malachi Fields, is that an upgrade to what we had last year? Again, we'll see what happens. My man Pete Winan says yes. Okay, yes. Phil says yes. And I do apologize if I miss some of the comments, man. I'm trying to get to them as much as I can. Malachi, okay. Darnell Mooney, is that an upgrade to what we had in the wide receiver room last year? Darnell Mooney, is that an upgrade? Bully Bill says to be determined. Now I hear you. Luann says we still have Hodge. Listen, I know you love your wide receivers, Luann. I know you do. But I remember you wanted a wide receiver too to add to this room. So I know you love these guys that we have, but you were looking for another person too to add to the room, which a lot of people are. And it's not a bad thing. Okay. So we got yeses too. Yeses for Mooney. Mooney, yes. Okay. Yeah. See? Okay. Now, and shout out to my man TP Way the Giant in the building. I saw his comment, then I lost it. But shout out to my man. He's back in full effect, putting out the content. So make sure you guys go check out my man TP Way. Been on a roll since he got back. And shout out to, the new digs and all that other stuff. You in a new state, how that weather treating you is going to be a lot different, especially, because you was in a cold climate before. Now you out there in the desert. So shout out to my man TP. Calvin Austin. Now, when we talk about Calvin Austin, a lot of people try to do 1-1. Calvin Austin versus Wan'Dale Robinson. But also, you got to add Isaiah Likely to the mix because he's a slot receiver. So now, Calvin Austin and Isaiah Likely are those upgrades. And if you want to say Wan'Dale Robinson and my man Daniel Bellinger, Isaiah Likely and Calvin Austin upgrades to, Daniel Bellinger and Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, here we go. Let's go to the offensive line. We brought back a lot of people, but we added CC Maui Noah. Is that an upgrade to Van Roten? There's we can go on and on, man. We can go on and on. Mr. Mark said, "What's good, Dash?" He said, "Did the Giants get rid of Hyatt?" Nope, he's still here. He's still holding on to that 13 jersey. He got about about 60 days to still hold on to that 13 jersey. About 60 days, I think. About 60 days. Then he got to get that jersey up. But he says, also, I heard West Virginia is not for people of color. Well, first of all, Randy Moss is from West Virginia. Jason Williams, White Chocolate, he's from West Virginia. There's some black folks out there. I don't know where, but they out there, though. They definitely, if Randy Moss is out there, there's some people of color out there. He says, don't know for sure, just stating what I heard. Nah, it's black people everywhere, man. You got black people in Alaska. We out there, we everywhere, man. We find our way in places, man. My man Pete says yes to Maui. Rev says yes to Maui. Stephen R says Quentin Nelson's next free agent will complete the office. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. In the 2027 needs, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Now, switching to the defensive side, because we talked about the offense and we talk about upgrades. We lose Dane Belton. We add what's his name? Pinnock. We add Jason Pinnock. So Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock. Is Jason Pinnock an upgrade from Dane Belton? I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what you guys say about that. My man, he said, is he? Is that a wash? Is that a push? Or is Pinnock better than Dane Belton? Rev was the first person confident enough to say yes. Phil says same. Bully Bill says yes. Listen, I like Dane Belton. The one thing about Dane Belton is this: he was always in the right place at the right time, seemed like, especially for the interceptions. Now, there was times where he got beat for sure, but he got his hands on a lot of balls, and got a lot of turnovers for the New York Giants. Not a lot, but a good amount. Q Burrow says loading. All right, let's take it down to the second level. Tremaine Edmonds and Arvell Reese, are those guys upgrades? Are those guys upgrades to the linebacker room? Come on, man. There's upgrades all over the place. Man. And that's what gives me confidence in this team. And then also the most important thing, I didn't forget, but I meant to say this person first. John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is he an upgrade to Brian Dable? Is that an upgrade? The whole damn coaching staff is an upgrade. Come on, man. What we talking about? There's upgrades all over the place with the New York Giants, man. A lot of people say we didn't do enough. Obviously, it's not a finished product, but the New York Giants definitely have some upgrades. Now it just has to all come together. Has to all come together. Q Burrow says most definitely. Anthony Cherry says yes. Daniel says I like Tremaine, but he misses a lot of tackles. He's still better. Listen, again, you can't knock them all out of the park. Again, a lot of that has to do with the defensive coordinator. That's another question. Denard Wilson, is Denard Wilson an upgrade from Shane Bowen, or is that loading? That might be loading too. That might be loading too. But I'm gonna stand out on a ledge and say Denard Wilson is definitely better than Shane Bowen. Anything's better than Shane Bowen. Anything is better than Shane Bowen. Blue Reborn said, bruh. Yeah, tremendous upgrade. Tremendous upgrade. Trey better in coverage. Trey is another person that, again, talk about man-to-man coverage, that's one thing. But being able to get to a spot, long arms, being able to bat some balls down, that's another thing. And then he's another person who seems to be in the right place at the right time. You look at his interception numbers. It's not like he's out there like a cornerback or a safety. No, he's 200 and he's 6'5", 250 pounds, running around and getting turnovers. So we talking about upgrades. Q Burrow says anything is always better. Yeah, than Shane Bowen. I got another question. Matt Nagy, is Matt Nagy an upgrade? Is he an upgrade from Kafka? Is he an upgrade from Kafka? Let me know. I know some people that was defending the hell out of Kafka too, man. Listen, defending the hell out of Kafka. Ismail says Denard Wilson is definitely an upgrade defensively. No, absolutely. 100%, man. 100%. Draco, what's going on? He says, what's your prediction on our record against the Commanders? They're not sweeping us this year. I'll put it that way. It won't be a sweep. I got it splitting with the division. I'll say that right now. I think we can split with everybody. If we can split with Dallas and we can split with the Eagles last year, I definitely think we can split with those teams this year and then add the Commanders to that too. That's the only thing the Commander fans was holding on to, was them sweeping us last year. And I watch a lot, maybe more than I should. I watch a lot of Washington Commander content because again, that is a rival, but I appreciate what those what those dudes do over there. Not even dudes, those fine ladies and gentlemen over there in the Washington Commanders content community. And this all the love I'm gonna give them, because I'm not gonna give them any love on the field, but they do a lot of good work. They put out a lot of content, and it's like a million of them over there. And they all mess with each other. They're all over everybody's channels and stuff like that. And I think the Giants need to do that as well. Giants content creators need to do that as well. Start collabing with each other even more. Show some love, show some unity and stuff like that. Phil says, if you go room by room with the team, you'll see that most of the room got better. Yeah, no, that's 100%. The only room that didn't get better, and it depends on how you're looking at it, was the defensive line, in my opinion. And then some rooms stayed the same. Like the secondary pretty much stayed the same, but Colton Hood, depending on how fast Colton Hood is up and running, it's an upgrade too for the secondary. If Debo can get back, second year after coming back from an injury, Javon Holland was highly disappointing last year. Can he get back? It's some question marks still, but I do think that the New York Giants made some upgrades. Jarius says, definitely. Did you hear what Spider-Man said? What did he say? Talking about Burns. During in the interviews. Yeah, he liked everything. But Brian Burns is always like that. You never get Brian Burns to really say too much. He does show confident, but he always says that it means nothing till we're on the field. So shout out to Brian Burns. He is now the unquestioned leader on the defensive side. I think he was already that last year anyway. You had guys like Bobby Okereke, who still had a pretty good voice, strong voice in the defense on the defensive side. But Brian Burns is an unquestioned leader on defense right now. Still trying to figure out exactly who the leader on offense is going to be. And you guys let me know who's the leader on the offensive side of the ball. We got good players like Andrew Thomas is good, but he's not a vocal leader. Cam Scatterable is Cam Scatterable. You hope it's Jackson Dart, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. He said, what did Spider-Man say? No, he just was talking. He just was talking. There was interviews, and they only did 2 of them, man. They only did Brian Burns and they did Kayvon, John Schmoke. Shout out to John Schmoke. But it's out there, man. It's out there. They love the system. They like the aggressiveness of the new system. They like what Denard Wilson is doing. They said there's going to be a lot of disguises and stuff like that. Love to hear that. But they without giving away too much, they just pretty much they're all excited about this defensive scheme right now. That's the gist of it. But I will always recommend, especially you, Tyrone Hall. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall. You go back and watch the positional interview. I think they put it up. It's either yesterday or the day before yesterday is when they put out that video. But it's a good watch, man. It's always a good watch to hear the leaders of the team speak. He said it's close. It's close between Kafka and Nagy. Oh man, Thunder says Kafka was confused at best. Listen, man, for somebody, I fell into the trap too with Kafka, man. And it's funny too, because when you think about it, they both came from the same place. Kafka came from Kansas City. Nagy came from Kansas City. The only difference is Nagy, had some experience as a head coach in Chicago, and we saw him, win games with Trubisky. He took a Chicago Bears led by Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs. When he was coaching Darnell Mooney was a 1,000-yard wide receiver under Matt Nagy when he was calling plays. So I will give him the leg up on Kafka and call it an upgrade. But again, if I'm with my man, said it's pending. It's pending. Ishmael says Matt Nagy is definitely better than Dable. I'm not even calling him better than Dable. I'm just talking about Kafka. But hey, if you say he's better than Dable, hey, I'm not going to argue with you. Anthony Cherry says, yes, he has more experience. Yeah, he does. Luann says, it was said, oh, that's another person I forgot, not saying about Washington, but Ardarius Washington in the safety room. Is Ardarius Washington an upgrade addition to the safety room? I'm going to say yes to that. You guys ain't got to respond in the comment section for that. But seeing Washington there made me think of Ardarius Washington. And yes, Ardarius Washington is an upgrade, 100%. Ishmael says, thank you, Big Dash. What's up, big bro? What's going on, man? How you doing? I'm chilling. It's Saturday. We back. We missed a week last week because of, the holiday. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their 4th of July. I know on the East Coast it was storming something crazy. I was watching somebody's channel, man. Out back east, it was trees getting knocked down and all that stuff. So hopefully everybody was safe for their 4th of July last weekend. Yeah, we back now. I had some neighbors, letting off fireworks out here. It was good. It was good. It wasn't the cheap ones either. Wasn't the cheap ones. Luann says, hold on. I got that one. Q Burrow says, I know that Gano is, but what is a commander? That's funny. We don't recognize the commanders. We don't recognize them at all. No respect, right? Ishmael says, Colton Hood, I feel confident about his progress, definitely improving in Denard Wilson's defensive scheme. I got high hopes for Colton Hood, man. I hear nothing but good things about Colton Hood. We saw him in practice. Every time he's in practice, he's making plays. What the rookie minicamp, he made plays. OTAs made plays. Mandatory minicamp made plays. Eventually, he's going to be a starter. Eventually, he will be a starter. It's just how long it takes for him to be a starter. Is it going to be week 3, week 4? Is it going to be week 8? We'll see. Is it going to be after the bye? At some point in time, Colton Hood will be starting. And the only way he doesn't start, that means Tay Banks or either Newsome is playing out of their mind. But it's going to be hard to try to keep Colton Hood off the field, in my opinion. Daniel says, by the way, Dash, you really buying all this Banks training camp hype? Look at that, man. You guys are right on. No, I'm not. I'm not buying it at all. I was out here for 2 seasons yelling the bank is closed and the bank was open. Banks were open on Sundays, and I'm not believing none of the hype when it comes to I'm not drinking any of the Kool-Aid, none of the bank's Kool-Aid, none of that. I gotta see it. Just like I had to give up on certain players, I had to give up finally on Jalen Hyatt. I had to give up finally on Slayton. I'm not playing around with Banks. No. If he ends up playing well, fantastic. I'm not expecting that at all. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on Banks. Respectfully. Banks, if you're watching, respectfully. You can't blame me. You can't blame me for saying what I'm saying. Hopefully it sparks a little bit more. I see that Banks is working hard, though. I did see that on social media. Mega Giants, what's going on? He said, what up, Big Dash? Knows Eli Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks. He is. You out here just making statements, true statements in the chat. I appreciate that. Shout out to Mega Giants. Yeah, he one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And that's not even a biased statement. When you look at the record books, he's in there. He's in there. Got a couple of records. Still the best quarterback performance in the playoffs in NFL history. He's one of them ones. Now that same Eli Manning would depress you sometimes as well. But thank Eli Manning for those 2 championships for sure. And I saw the post where Eli Manning had a little bit of a dig at Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart asked Eli when he going to get a chain, and then Eli Manning said, when you going to trade that chain in for some rings? Shout out to Eli Manning for that. Stacy, what's going on? He says Newsome was a great pickup and could play opposite of Poston. Right now he is. Right now he's penciled in as a starter most likely. And again, I think they're going to give Colton Hood every opportunity to compete for that number 1 spot. But right now, I believe it's Newsome's job. You can say the same thing for Tay Banks too. And that's what's going to make the preseason so interesting this year, is that there still are some positions up for grabs and people got to earn them. And you're going to see a lot of these guys play a lot of minutes in the preseason. And I can't wait. I'm invested. Absolutely invested. Sorry. Thunder says, is Dart on offense? It's Dart on offense. Okay. Don't forget about Jameis, talking about leaders on the offensive side. I do believe that Jameis is a vocal leader, especially on the offensive side, but I want a starter. I want to know who the starter is that's the leader. Dart is definitely establishing himself as a starter. As a leader. I believe the way he played last year, the way that the offensive lineman treats him, the way that people respond to him. I think he's right there. But this year is going to be the year that he becomes an unquestioned leader for the New York Giants. I believe vocally he is there, but you got to see it on the field as well. And we saw glimpses of it. But we need him to take that next step to be the unquestioned leader on offense. Because outside of that, who's really the leader outside of that? Cam Scatterable, as far as vocal, emotional leaders and stuff like that, which I'll take that too. But you want your quarterback to be the leader, vocal leader. And we've had quarterbacks before, like Eli Manning was a leader, but he was a quiet leader. I like the swag of Jackson Dart for sure, and I think he brings that little extra oomph. And if he can add it to the field, then there's no question about his superstardom. Through the roof. Mr. Mark said, I'm the real Spider-Man. Oh, man, Luann says, no happy Saturday for me. You work tomorrow. Listen, I remember working weekends. I remember working nights, too. I worked nights for 8 years. The night shift will beat you up for sure. I had sleep deprivation and all that stuff, man. Yeah, it's a tough task, but hopefully you have a good day at work tomorrow, Luann, and the day goes by smoothly and fast for you, hopefully. Big Blue Reborn says Hood is going to be nice. Yeah, I think so too. I like everything about Colton Hood. The man was pretty much born to be a corner, been training to be a corner since he was 6 years old. Had professional coaches since he was like 6 years old. His uncle coached Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson gave him some point. Like the man, he went to Colorado with Deion Sanders. Then ultimately went to Tennessee and became a high draft pick, second rounder, but a high draft pick still. And yes, I think he's going to be very, very good for us. Leo Lucas says, in Florida, weather was good on the 4th of July. I watched the Capitol 4th on PBS, and at night watched Independence Day. You always watching movies, though. Always watching movies. I didn't watch the PBS special. I didn't even know PBS still existed. I didn't know. Is Sesame Street still on PBS? I don't know the last time I saw PBS. I grew up on PBS too, man. For those that know, especially in the tri-state area. PBS, man. Sesame Street was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, all that stuff. Listen, I'm telling my age right now, but I don't care. I grew up in one of the best eras ever. I'm an 80s baby. Grew up in the 90s. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Anything. The 90s, it's too early in the pod to be reminiscing, and we can go left. Let's get back to these talking points, man, because this is the real reason for the show today. One of the main talking points. You see it as the fourth thing that we're going to talk about. I apologize if I get past a lot of these comments, but I got to move on to the next topic. And that, and again, in the comments section now, PBS still exists. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Shout out to PBS, man. Conjunction, what's your function? Listen, man, it's not that part of the show yet, Soul Glow. It's not that part of the show yet. We can do that a little bit later and reminisce about, I didn't cuss. Did I cuss? I didn't cuss. I don't think, did I cuss? I try not to cuss in real life. Fighter's Destiny in real life. But for here, I try to keep it as clean as possible. Never know when there's kids watching. My own kids watch sometimes. So I try to keep it as clean as possible. Good Times was not on PBS. I'm sorry. I see where you're going, though. Good Times was not on PBS, man. What was the painter's name? Bob Ross. Bob Ross was on PBS. Thomas the Train was on PBS when I was coming up. That was on PBS. He said, I didn't think I cussed. I didn't. So I try to keep it as clean as possible, man. You never know who's watching. And there's Young Giants fans too. I try to keep it as clean as possible. But sometimes I do cuss, and I try not to. But yeah, I'm human at the end of the day. What was I at? Pay Kayvon. That's where I was at. Pay Kayvon. Yes or no in the comments section. Just a yes or no. If you want to say something more than that, even better. Are you guys paying Kayvon, extending Kayvon, making him a part of the future for the New York Giants? I got some things to talk about when it comes to Kayvon Thibodeau. So let me know. Pete Weiner says, love some Good Times, keeping our head above. Listen, I almost broke out in song, Pete. You almost got me. Stephen R says, hell no. That's not a cuss because hell is in the Bible. So I'm not going to count that as a cuss. But Stephen R says, hell no to signing. And I already knew that, Stephen R, because I saw you in the comment section. I replied to you as well. Wilderness Scout said, you ain't never cuss on your podcast. I think I did once, Wilderness Scout. I think I did, but I made sure it was during the second hour of the show. So a lot of people didn't hear it. Only the true fans that stick around long enough to the end of the episode caught that one. I'm bugging. Thunder says yes. Leo Lucas says yes. I appreciate that, Wilderness Scout, for sure. Daniel says no. Next. Bully Bill says yes. My man Jay Saint in the building. What's going on, Jay Saint, man? What's going on, man? I'm happy that you're watching. He says, every single Bob Ross is on Tubi. Sometimes I put it on in the background to go to sleep. You know what I put on to go to sleep? Taxi. It used to be Cheers. But I've been on a Taxi kick. I've been watching Taxis on Paramount Plus too. Is it Hulu or Paramount Plus? Paramount Plus got Taxi. And you know what? As a kid, when Taxi used to come on, I knew it was time to go to bed. So I would get through the opening credits and then be asleep because I had to turn the TV off or something like that. But actually started watching Taxi, and Taxi was a pretty good show. The reruns were pretty good. Pretty good show. Never knew that as a kid, but it was a pretty good show. Let's see. Thunder says yes, pay KT. T-Tom says, I don't know. Rev says yes. Jay says, hell yeah, pay Kayvon. Mr. Mark says, pay KT. Big Blue Reborn says, A-dash, you only human. Sometimes it slips. Nah, that's a fact. We're only human at the end of the day. What more can you ask for? Tyrone says, no, needs to earn a contract. Lorenzo says, yes, we paying Kayvon. Tony the GOAT, what's going on, Tony? Says, yes, he is the best third option in the league, maybe second. Jay Saint says, if 10 plus sacks, yes. Okay. I like this. I'm seeing some yeses. I got a little bit of no's, but I'm seeing that. So I obviously I had to do a little bit of research. And just I got a question for the people that say no to Kayvon Thibodeau, right? Are you saying yes to 10 plus sacks? Are you saying yes to 20 plus hurries? Are you saying yes to 35 pressures? Are you saying yes to 10 plus quarterback hits? Are you saying yes to 40 tackles? Because that's pretty much the range of Kayvon Thibodeau. Even last year when he got hurt and missed a bunch of games, the pressures were still up. He still got enough the pressures were up. It was in the 30s. He never had less than 32 pressures in the season. And again, he has not been the healthiest. We understand that. Has not played a full year yet. But I think that's what keeps the price honest with Kayvon Thibodeau, because you had the injuries, because you did not live up to the draft slot. You didn't live up to it. If anybody, we can't question that. The kind of hype that Kayvon Thibodeau had coming out of college is the kind of hype that pretty much Abdul Carter had coming out of college. And the hype for Kayvon Thibodeau might even have been a little bit more than Abdul Carter. But, some people, forget things. But to everybody's point, he has to earn a contract. He has to earn a contract. I got a slide for you guys too, man. So right now, Kayvon Thibodeau is playing on the 5th-year option, $14 million, $14.7 million on the 5th-year option. Now, the pros to getting a deal done right now with Kayvon Thibodeau is whatever the price might be. He's most likely going to be cheaper right now than he's going to be come, free agency. Now, if your plans are that Kayvon Thibodeau is not in the plans for the New York Giants, then at some point in time, you got to move him. You got to trade him at the deadline. That makes a lot of sense. But is he going to have the value at the deadline? Now, two things can happen too. Kayvon Thibodeau, for him, again, he seems like a confident person. He might bet on himself. He might say, you know what? Thank you for the interest in signing me, but I'm going to play out this 5th-year option. I'm going to bet on myself. And guess what? Maybe the same thing happens this year when he gets hurt. Or the opposite can happen where he goes out there, plays lights out, and then he becomes unaffordable for the New York Giants. I'm telling you guys right now, for me, when we look at that edge room, we'd see it as a strength. You got Burns, you got Carter, you got Thibodeau. You're very, very comfortable. Are you telling me that – actually, let me ask this question first. Let me ask this question first. Kayvon's market value right now, if you go on Spot Track right now, some people say Spot Track, I say Spot Rack, whatever. If you go on there right now, Kayvon Thibodeau's market value is $21.3 million. Right now, he's playing on the 5th-year option for $14.7. Are you comfortable? I'm gonna ask you guys this question first. Are you comfortable with Kayvon Thibodeau in that range? 20, 21 million, 22. Are you comfortable in that range, or is it a hell no? Let me know. But that's right now, if you go on Spot Rack, that is his market value. $21.3 million. They talk about a 4-year contract, $84 million, stuff like it. You can lock Kayvon Thibodeau down for 4 more years, and that by the time that contract is up, then you got Dart, then you got possibly Malik Neighbors. For me, I'm just like my man Jarius. To me, a 3-year extension make the most sense. You're taking a lot of risk, and when it's a 3-year deal, it's really a 2-year deal. But let's talk about it, right? My man Soul Glow says, hell to the no, to the no. Hell to the nah, to the nah. Hell to the nah. The Jackal says, in all caps, hell no, not until I see 10 plus games out of that man. Last year was 10 games. The year before that, I can't remember. And then his best season was 23 when he got, he had 12 and a half sacks in 23. So what I did was I was looking at that number, right? I was looking in that range of 18 to $22 million. And I said, you know what? Let me look at some of these edge rushers that are making 18 to 20 to $21 million. So I do have a list. For people, right? And it surprises me because when we think of $20 million for an edge rush, we're saying that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But when you really think about it, Brian Burns in 2027 has a cap hit of $44 million. Now, we did some restructuring and stuff like that, but he's on the high end side. Before we did the restructuring and created some cap space this year, roughly his cap hit was in the 30s. Now he's in the 20-something right now. I don't know the exact number. I wasn't researching that. I was researching Kayvon Thibodeau. But here's some of these names, right? That players that are making that amount of money, or around that amount of money, in 2026 and possibly 2027, right? The most famous name on this list right now is going to be Trey Hendrickson at $18 million. Trey Hendrickson at $18 million. He is on this list, right? Would you rather have Trey Hendrickson or Kayvon Thibodeau? Not exactly the same type of player, but still an edge rusher. The next person on that list making 21 and some change $million, Boye Mafe. Boye Mafe making $21 million. Alex Highsmith for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's making $21 million. And we already know the guy that plays behind Highsmith right now, Nick Herbig, in 2027 will be making more money than him. And he's in a rotational role. Keep that in mind. Carl Granderson is making $21+ million. Somebody tell me what team Carl Granderson plays for right now. Let me know. $20 million. $21 million. Kwity Paye is making 19, and somebody named Dayo Adeyingbo is making $20 million as well. $20 million is not as much money as some of you guys think. Now, again, we're talking about a 25-year-old, be 26 in December, who a lot of people believe still can get better than what he was. Did not live up to the hype, but still can get better than what he was. And he's talking about $21.3 million is his market value. Again, it's better than the $25 million that Nick Herbig is going to make. He said the Rams, maybe. The Bengals. Some people watch. Some people are fanatics, man. Some people know. So that's so when we look at that $20 million, we're saying that because it's Kayvon Thibodeau. And again, we're dealing with the point, or from the point of view of he didn't live up to the 5th overall pick, and he's not worth almost any money in the world. Some people say they won't pay him even the $14 million that he's getting paid this year. But we got to throw some numbers out there of these people that are really making this kind of money and are in a similar position as Kayvon Thibodeau. So now let me share my screen, man, because I want to talk about the free agents in 2027 at the edge rush. I mean, in the edge room, right? So give me just a moment. Go ahead, pull up this graphic. Hopefully, come out pretty clear. Let's see if it comes out pretty clear. All right, let me know if you guys can see that. It's not the clearest. I already understand. Let me go ahead and move these comments for a second, and let me move this comment. Said Carl Granderson plays on the team who. George says trade him to Chicago. That's another thing too, man. I was going back and forth with somebody. Can't remember the name, and they was like, man, Kayvon Thibodeau didn't live up to the hype. Kayvon Thibodeau was not a good player. We're not going to pay him that money. We should trade him for a second or a third rounder. And I had to take a step back. And if you're in here watching, you know you made that comment. I said, if Kayvon Thibodeau was so bad, why in the world would you expect to get a second or a third rounder for him? I do believe that the Giants were offered a second or a third rounder during the draft, like they were talking about, the Saints showed interest. If they would have offered a second or a third rounder, Kayvon Thibodeau would be a Saint. I'm telling you that right. I'm not delusional when it comes to that. If you're getting that type of compensation back, you make that move. But now that we're past the draft and we're getting ready for the season, and we just had the scare with Abdul Carter, the twisted ankle, or it was about 24 hours when we didn't know what was going on with Abdul Carter, we felt better to have Kayvon Thibodeau on the roster. And that's all I'm saying. When you have a strong room, we finally have a positional group or a positional room that we're actually saying, yes, that's a strength, and we're ready to get rid of somebody because we're talking about money. And at the end of the day, is it our money? And we've seen the New York Giants pay for players way worse than Kayvon Thibodeau. But look at this. This is the list of edge rushers that are going to be available in 2027. So if the New York Giants decide to let Kayvon walk or they trade him mid-season at the trade deadline, we're still going to be looking for an edge rusher. So these are some of the names. If you don't want Kayvon Thibodeau, look at these guys and look at the money that they're making. Do you want Andrew Van Ginkel at 32 years old, making more money than Kayvon Thibodeau? Do you want Khalil Mack, who's another guy that's super old and on the out? Eric Armstead, Malcolm Kuntz, Dorrance Armstrong, Kavalion Chason is another name. You know, Kingley and Barry. I'm not mad at that. But Kayvon Thibodeau was on this list as far as what he made. Again, what is, versus, the rest of the guys listed here. You got names like B.J. Ojolari, Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, which I wouldn't mind Sam Williams, but I don't think he's better than Kayvon Thibodeau. Jermaine Johnson's another name, It's just a bunch of regular stuff happening. Now, why I like Kayvon Thibodeau more in this situation is because he'll be familiar in the system. He'll be familiar to the fans. And we kind of got an idea of what to expect with Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, he still does need to earn a contract, but at the end of the day, for me, I'm paying Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm paying him. And I'm paying him now rather than later because I think he'll be cheaper now than what he will be at the end of the season. And we had the same thing happen last year where it was an off season right before training camp. And you had Cordell Flott, you had Wan'Dale Robinson, you had Jermaine Illuminor. Now, Jermaine Illuminor ended up working out for you still. You still were able to get him back. But you could have signed these guys back for cheap. Right now, if we had Cordell Flott, and we're looking at Cordell Flott as our second, as a CB2, we're probably a little bit more comfortable in this situation. Maybe it's less of a question mark. If you had, so I'm just trying to, I don't want to get caught up in the same situation where you had a chance to sign somebody for a little bit cheaper, possibly. Not a hometown discount, because we already know Kayvon is not giving out any hometown discounts. Not at all. And I don't expect him to. But I think right now his price will be something reasonable. Now, if he plays out of his mind this year, and that's something that could happen. Damn, my man got choked out. Good Lord. Didn't even get a chance to tap. Choked him out. But yeah, don't fall into the same trap. Be proactive instead of reactive. Let's get that done. Let's see what some of these comments are saying. People still don't know who Grandison is. Carl plays for the Saints. Yeah, I'm just saying. There's a lot of people making this money that we don't even know. They're not household names, and they're making $20 million. $20 million is not, again, it's a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's a lot of money. That is not a lot of money. I'm not going to act like it's not a lot of money. But yeah, it's guys that we don't even know that are making $20 million. They're not household names and making $20 million. That's just where the NFL is right now. Now, you're always going to be able to bargain, hunt, and shop and do all this other stuff. But what has that gotten the Giants so far? I understand it's a new regime, half of a new regime, with Joe Shane still being in the building. But you have to keep quality depth in the building. Because right now, if you look at the edge room outside of Kayvon Thibodeau, what is it? You're comfortable right now because you have Kayvon Thibodeau on the roster. That's all I'm saying, man. Now, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy on YouTube talking about the team that I love the most. And we're all fans of that team. We're not decision makers. And they'll make the decision that best fits them, hopefully. But if it's up to me, I'm trying to get that deal done fast. My man said, Stephen R. says, Bud Dupree on a cheap contract for Edge 3 is reasonable. I understand, and I know where your stance is when it comes to Kayvon Thibodeau. Bud Dupree, cheap contract. Again, we can play that. We can play that role. We can keep on, playing musical chairs and bringing in new people for the cheap. But what's the point of having a healthy cap? What's the point of having a healthy cap if you're not spending the money on people, especially homegrown talent? And that's the other thing, homegrown talent at the end of the day. Nova Nebula says, I really hope that Chauncey Golston has a larger role this season. He should. It was a damn shame that he was buried on the bench last year. Shane Bowen didn't know what to do with him. Hand in the dirt, stand him up. They didn't know. One thing that we saw this year already is they know exactly where they want to play him. He's not in the edge room. He's not listed in the edge room like he was last year. He's listed as a defensive lineman. And I do hope that they find a nice role for him in a rotation. He should be definitely in that rotation. Nova Nebula says, scared money don't make no money. That's what Joe Shane said, didn't he? Didn't he say that? But guess what? We're a little bit scared when it comes to this money. But what's the point, man? Because right now you're not paying anybody but Brian Burns. And also, when we talk about Brian, all that money is spent already. We're talking about cap space and making this team good. That's it. Trust me, there's a lot of areas on this team where you can go the cheap route. You can absolutely go the cheap route. We saw it this year. We went the cheap route in the wide receiver room. That's why we got a bunch of wide receivers on one-year deals, and we got to go ahead and either re-sign these guys or go out there and look for wide receivers again. Look at the defensive line. A lot of guys on 1-year deals. We got to go find more defensive linemen in next year. You got somebody like Kayvon, man. Just go ahead and pay your guy. You still got room. And also the way they work these contracts this year, yes, his contract might be an average of $21 million, but that's not going to be the cap hit at all. Shout out to my man Trisha K in the building. Say, yo, Dad, what's up? What's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing? Soul Glow says Clowney's contract around $5 million. That also, but Clowney is a journeyman now. And I believe people see Clowney as a journeyman. Now, again, if we want to get caught in that mix of just finding cheap replacements and a 1-year deal and a 1-year deal and keep taking that risk, that's one thing. But also, I do understand where people are coming from, because we feel a certain way about Kayvon because he did not live up to that 5th overall pick. I understand that. So I'm not going to sit here and try to argue you guys down to a certain extent. No, I'm not going to do that, because you feel a certain way for a reason. And if Kayvon actually lived up to that 5th overall pick, Abdul Carter wouldn't even be on this roster. Let's be honest. We would have drafted somebody else last year that high. So there are question marks for Kayvon Thibodeau, but I'm just saying right now, I like having at least one strong positional group, and right now that edge room is, and I think for the money for a premium position, I don't think it's that bad. And then again, by the time that Kayvon Thibodeau contract is done, you're looking to re-sign in Abdul Carter if everything works out. You still got Arvil Reese on the roster, but he's a middle linebacker, and maybe he moves. And then also the biggest thing that I want to talk about that nobody wants to talk about is, in 2 years, where's Brian Burns? In 2 years, where's Brian Burns? In 2 years, we don't know. So I'm trying to be proactive and not reactive, and we have been reactive for so long, and it does not help. I will also say this: with these injuries to Malik Neighbors, I'm probably drafting a wide receiver high next year too. Depending on, it's going to be a lot of good wide receivers. I might draft one of those guys high too, man. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me go ahead and remove this for a second. Get back to the full screen. Actually, let me get back to where I was. Okay. So you guys had the comments flowing, man. Let me see if I can get caught up. I see everybody looking at the edge room list. He says, "Oh, this is actually a draft." Colin Simmons edge out of Texas. Yeah, but he's going high. He's going high. Depending on where we draft, I'm sitting here acting like we're not, drafting in the top 10. We better not draft in the top 10 next year. That'd be a failure for me if we drafted in the top 10 next year. But I think Simmons goes early. Clowney's contract about $5 million. I mean, there's always bargains everywhere, but also when guys play for contracts that low, something happens. Like you don't think Clowney takes more money if he could get it somewhere else? And then also, how picky are they at the same time? Well, I don't even know where's Clowney at right now. Let me know where Clowney is right now. Is he competing for a Super Bowl? Let me know. And what is his role on that team? Soul Glow 84 says, I will take a vet like Clowney whose numbers 100% better than Kayvon and doesn't get injured. Older player, but we can bridge a gap with Clowney better than Kayvon. Listen, again, I'm not going to argue you guys too much, man. Again, I love to debate. I love to talk about this subject because it's something that I believe the Giants are thinking about right now too. But don't get caught up in that mix, because I tell you right now, we talk about Clowney's not a Giant right now. And, Kayvon is. He's already in the building. There you go. And we see that these players, $20 million, that in the bigger scheme of things is not as much money as we think when it comes to NFL numbers. To me and you guys, I mean, I don't know everybody's situation. $20 million. I'll take $20 million right now for sure. For sure. JJ the King says, I'll take Kayvon over Clowney. Remember Kayvon coming out too. Clowney is another player that did not live up to his draft hype. Ended up being a journeyman. And right now, look at the conversation that we're having right now. A person that didn't live up to the hype becomes a journeyman, and now we're talking about taking him over Kayvon possibly, and people arguing against that as well. I mean, listen. Pete Weiner says, and you never know, Burns could be going. That's what I'm saying, Pete. That's what I'm saying, Pete. Now, and I've said this before, a lot of people, I'm not the only person that talked about this, and Pete is pointing it out. Brian Burns right now, nobody's thinking about what's going to happen in 2 years when it comes to Brian Burns. That contract is the contract. That's a lot of money that man is making. And we're hoping that he can replicate what he did last year. And will we see that? What was it, a fluke season? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. Was it Burns in his 7-year career? Burns has 3 seasons where he had double-digit sacks. Last year being his best season by far when it comes to sack numbers. Not as high as far as grades all around as an edge, but when it comes to sack numbers, last year was his best year. But in 7 years that Brian Burns has played, 7 seasons, he's only had double-digit sacks 3 times. So when we talk about Kayvon Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau had what, 8 the first year, 13 the second year, and then fell off a little bit. Not falling off, but I blame Shane Boone for a lot. Put it that way. Milk Does says Burns wouldn't be on the team. It was supposed to be Ojulari, Tibbs, and listen. I'm laughing, but it's true. It is absolutely true. If Ojulari lived up to the hype, it was supposed to be Ojulari and Tibbs. You're absolutely right. Ojulari couldn't stay healthy. Tibbs didn't turn out being who he's supposed to be. Now Ojulari can't even get a jersey for the Eagles. And Tibbs, the fan base is fighting against him getting some money. And Zimenez is Zimenez. And that's what we've been dealing with for so long. And we finally got a edge room that's Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Thibodeau. And we're sitting here trying to create holes that are unnecessary. Over money. I get it. Over money. Right now, the New York Giants have $49 million in cap space. That's not including, whatever the jump is next year with the cap. So they got some money to make some moves. Now, there's a lot of positions of need in 2027. And I'm going to list a few of them. Offensive line. Offensive line is definitely a need in 2027. We don't know what type of year JMS is going to have. He's in a contract year. I'm hoping that he plays well and can get re-signed with the New York Giants, but we don't know for sure. He's not good enough to not be replaced. You know how I feel about John Runyon. So already off the bat in 2027, the New York Giants are looking at a need at center and a need at left guard. Straight off the bat, we still need offensive line help. On the opposite side of the trenches, defensive line. Defensive line is another position of need for the New York Giants. Again, you got $49 million. You figure with the cap going up, roughly, possibly just under $60 million, possibly. After that, well, not actually. I'm lying because 49, almost 50. So you're probably looking at like 65, close to $70 million in cap space after we figure out what the hike is on the salary cap. You still got money to play with. And then also, again, Burns is not going to cost you a full $21 million cap hit, because most likely if you get him on a good contract, you got bonuses, his first year cap hit might be $8 million, $12 million possibly. So you still got room. It doesn't hinder you from making moves. Now, so I said offensive line, defensive line, positions of need in 2027. Believe it or not, wide receiver is going to be a position of need. I don't have it as high as some of those other positional groups. DB possibly could be a position of need depending on what happens with these safeties. Again, we got Pinnock on a 1-year deal, or Darius Washington on a 1-year deal. We don't know what Tyler Newman is going to look like. Javon Holland kind of got us by the balls too. And then when you look at the secondary, Banks might not be here. Newsome is on a 1-year deal. Colton Hood, we hope Colton Hood is becomes that guy. But we definitely got a lot of needs. But I think that even with signing Kayvon Thibodeau, you still got enough money to make those moves. And also, if you draft well, if you continue to draft well, because the last draft and this draft, well, seem to be pretty good drafts. That 22 and 23, But yeah. But the rest of those drafts pretty good if you can get some good production out of these guys too. So that'll keep the cap healthy too. Let's see what you guys saying about that. He said numbers don't lie, Jay. Mr. Mark said we need a backup for Dart too. That's another thing. I think you lock up Jameis Winston. Now it just depends on Jameis Winston. If Jameis still feels like he can go somewhere and be a starter somewhere, then maybe we lose Jameis Winston. If Jameis is comfortable with the quarterback 2 spot and being behind Jackson Dart, then you re-sign him. You just re-sign Jameis and hope that you never have to use him. But it seems like Jameis likes New York. You see him all over the place. But I will add that to the list. If we're not able to re-sign Jameis Winston, we're probably looking at another quarterback too. But also a developmental quarterback at the end of the day too is needed behind Jackson Dart as well, because Jameis Winston ain't going to be here forever. And you hope to have another quarterback, if Jackson Dart succeeds, with a similar skill set as Jackson Dart, so you don't have to change up your offense a bunch when somebody's injured, when you need a spell or something like that. Pete Wine says, that's the thing. If Kayvon leaves, we can find something in the draft, and Reese might be more outside rush in the future. Like, again, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. And depending on how you look at it, yes, Reese, at some point in time, I do believe that Reese probably makes his way to the edge. I think what happens is once Brian Burns' contract is up, they're going to evaluate things, if they want to re-sign him or not. He's going to be over 30. Who knows what the production is going to look like in 2 years. And then maybe they say, we can draft another inside linebacker. Let's go ahead and move Reese to the outside. That's something that could absolutely happen. But again, we're talking 2 years from now, possibly. Again, and right now we can afford to sign Kayvon, keep this defense intact, and build off of that. T-Tom says Bosa's still a free agent as well. What do you think about him? Bosa's a 4-3 defensive end, right? He could play a little bit. He could stand up a little bit, but we don't know where he's at right now. As far as but if you want to add Bosa, he's on that list too. But he's also a short-term solution. He's another guy getting older, short-term solution. But I'm looking for keeping the continuity and building off of what we've seen already. And I think last year, before Kayvon got hurt, that he was, putting together his best season. And it wasn't just off of sacks. It was just being a complete edge rusher. I enjoyed, seeing somebody set the edge consistently and get tackles for losses and stops and stuff like that. It's not just about getting after the quarterback, as being an all-around good edge rusher. And I believe Kayvon Thibodeau is the best all-around guy that we have on the roster right now. Some people might feel differently. We're all entitled to that. Chase Young, another guy that didn't live up to the draft spot, became a journeyman and starting to get his feet under him again. But you see what happened with him too. And again, bad coaching, a product of bad coaching. We don't know what Denard Wilson's going to do this year and how these guys are going to look. The only person that survived the Shane Bowen system was Brian Burns. Everybody else on the defense looked terrible. Dexter Lawrence looked terrible under Shane Bowen. And we blamed a lot of that on Dexter being out of shape and being hurt and stuff like that. But Shane Bowen made everybody else look terrible. Bobby Okereke looked like a shell of himself when Shane Bowen got here. That 1 year he played under Wink, fantastic, Pro Bowler. Javon Holland looks terrible. Paulson Debo, terrible. All these guys can't be that bad. Newman took a step back. Drew Phillips took a step back. It's hard for me to believe that all these guys are really that bad. A lot of I think the coaching and scheme had a lot to do with it. Burns versus Miles. Man, as much as I love Burns, it ain't close when it comes to the impact on games. It's just different. Myles Garrett is just different. Burns is nice. Myles Garrett is just different. I don't think it's close. Shout to my man in the building. Says Dash Dart is playing for his future, and here's what I mean. Yes, he's young on his rookie deal, but if he doesn't produce and or is not healthy enough throughout the season, Harbs will want his own guy. That's not impossible to think about either. That's not. But I think Dart was Dart played a big role in Harbaugh being here. I mean, the $20 million did it too. The $25 million did it too. But I think everybody that was a candidate saw Jackson Dart as a bright spot for the New York Giants. But to your point, yeah, there's no loyalty to Jackson Dart. He didn't draft him 100%. Soul Glow says, but you can't tell me by the numbers Clowney as a vet isn't better than Kayvon. And if we don't trade Kayvon for a third rounder for comps, what? If we don't trade Kayvon, third rounder, or is that the third rounder from compensatory pick? I'll take that too. Oh, we're talking about if we trade him. Yeah, if we trade him or if we let him walk, we get the compensatory pick. Yeah. I mean, I can see that too, but again, then you're trying to find a replacement. And Kayvon Thibodeau has already proven that sometimes draft picks don't work out. At the end of the day, I mean, yeah. And I'm a guy that enjoys or looks forward to the draft. But I already know it's always 50-50 at the end of the day. We thought Kayvon Thibodeau was a home run. We thought Evan Neal was a home run. Sometimes it's not what it seems. People don't live up to the hype. It happens. But hopefully we got better, evaluators in the building. Capping God. Oh no, Cap it. Hold on. Is it capping odd or is it capping God? Let me know. He says it is what it is. Bring on the season. I'm ready for the season, man. I'm ready for the season. Ant says the 2027 class will be loaded at quarterback. Yeah, but we won't be in a position, hopefully, to even think about it. You know how bad Jackson Dart got to play for us to draft a quarterback in 2027? You know how bad it got to be? It got to be really bad. It got to be really bad if we go quarterback in 2027. That's something. I don't even want to think about that, to be honest, Ant. Don't even want to think about it. Ishmael says, Big Dash, I'm bringing back Spider-Man. No diggity, no doubt. No diggity, no doubt. Showing my age again. Leo Lucas says, maybe the new coaching helps. Yeah, of course. New coaching for sure. That's what I'm leaning on right now too, is the experience of the coaching staff. Luann says, Dash, I hope we can have a Strahan, OC, Tuck, JPP, and Kiwi. Listen, whatever version of the NASCAR we think we might get, I'm hoping for it too. That's nostalgia right there, Luann. Just thinking about those names, the Strahan, OC, Tuck, JPP, just thinking about those names and what those Tollefson back then too. Tollefson. Don't forget the DTs. Get those guys some love. Cofield. Get these guys some love, man. I mean, that's what we want. I don't think that they're not the same body type though. That NASCAR package with 255-pound edge rushers is not going to work. It's not going, especially in a league that's starting to shift back to the running game. Yeah, that's not going to work. But the nostalgia of it all, I agree with you 100%, Luann. 100%. Shout out to my big brother in the building too. I saw him earlier in the comment section. I didn't see him again, but shout out to my big brother in the building. Sean Jackson says, Luann, my son unfortunately was too young to remember when I brought him to the Giants parade, so the Giants need to win again before this decade ends so my son can remember it. Listen, 2029, we need a Super Bowl by 2029 to keep the streak alive. A Super Bowl in every decade since the 80s. That's we got till 2029 to keep the streak alive, and that's where I'm at. Shout out to my man Michael in the building. Michael, what's going on, man? Shout out to my man Mike. Mike, what's going on? He says you have to pay good players. If you don't pay good players, they will go like Barkley. Dash, pay good players again at premium positions. Again, there's a lot of arguments for and against Kayvon Thibodeau getting paid, and I'm on the side of pay that man. You saw the video that I put out, and shout out to my man Michael. Michael, just asking, just curious. Are you sipping right now? Let me know, Mike. Hopefully you're not sipping, but let me know if you're sipping and what you're sipping. Let me know. Shout out to my man Mike. Pete said, was thinking that earlier about Reese might move outside in the future. That's a possibility for sure. It's something that you think about. And they already kind of spilled the beans a little bit when they talked about it. Said, we're going to start him off at inside. That's what Harbaugh said about Reese. We're going to start him off at the inside, but obviously he has that versatility. And to me, I think that is a proactive selection. Obviously, he was just the best player best player available at the time when we were drafting. Reese had 5, was fantastic. But also there's some strategy to that because you're looking at how much these guys are making. Again, Brian Burns, if he can repeat what he did, fantastic. If he can't repeat that, just think about it. This year, with the restructure, he's making roughly about I think it's like what's he make, like $27 million? I think is what his cap hit is in 2026. But he's making $44 million in 2027. That's his cap hit. You're being proactive because let me tell you this: if Burns does not have a repeat of last season, a lot of people are going to be looking at that contract like $44 million. Now, I'm hoping everything works out for Burns, obviously. I'm just saying $44 million, you're going to look, if 2026 doesn't look like 2025 for Burns, a lot of people are going to be looking at that $44 million like, well, we got Reese. We could just move Reese to the outside. If you got, we just saying. It's always a conversation happening. Be proactive, not reactive. Anthony Cherry says, yeah, that's what I was thinking about putting Reese to take Burns' place. I mean, in the future, that's something that's possible, man. So let's play that out for a little bit, right? Let's just entertain that. Burns, for whatever reason, the contract is up. We got to move on. Now you're looking at a edge room of Reese and Abdul Carter. Even in that scenario, I still feel better if we had Kayvon Thibodeau on the roster. Let's be honest. I still feel comfortable. When and shout out to Marshall from Giants Giants Now. I'm sorry, was it? Yeah. Shout out to Marshall Green, right? Because he did a video where they were ranking positional rooms for the division. And you go room for room, right? And you're looking at the depth pieces for these other teams in the division. And when you look at a team like the Eagles, when you can go 3, 4, almost 5 spots and say, yeah, that's a recognizable name. They got good depth. When you look at the Giants depth chart, you're like, who's after Kayvon? Who is it? Khalid Kareem? Respectfully, that's Khalid Kareem. Who who's that? You know what I mean? When you look at the Giants roster versus some other people, you're just sitting here like, okay, yeah, I like the starters, but who the hell is this? Who is that? What has he done? Oh, he's making vet. I see why he's making vet minimum. Okay, and I say that respectfully because these guys made it to the league. I say it respectfully, but I'm just trying to be honest as possible. We have a strong edge room right now. Let's not make it weaker. Let's not do that. We already know Burns plays hurt. He does that. He's just the animal in him. Abdul Carter, we saw him on the ground in Denver. And the players opposite team talked trash to him, and he shook off an injury. Like, guys get injured. Guys get hurt. You need quality depth for a reason. And sometimes quality depth costs you money, and you can't be afraid to spend money. And especially as fans, because it ain't even our money at the end of the day. I care too much about the cap space. I'm one of those people too. But I got to shift my mindset of keep the good players. Keep the good play. I'd rather have them than not have them. I'd rather have them than hoping for somebody else when I already had them. I don't want to hope for Clowney when I already had Kayvon Thibodeau. You know what I mean? Hope that, well, it didn't work out with Kayvon. Let's see if it's going to work with Clowney. I don't want to take that risk. And maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong a lot. Ask my man Jay Ferris. I've been wrong a lot. Not afraid to be wrong, though, and to take risks. Soul Glow says, damn, Dash can't poke fun at Kayvon like that. Listen, I don't care what fun. You can make as much fun as you want. It is what it is. It is what it is. Pete Weiner says, kind of happy Bowen was here last year because that yeah. Like, I remember a lot of things happened for a reason. I wanted Dable gone after the 2024 season. I wanted Dable going after the 2024 season. We decided to run it back again. But at the time, if we would have got rid of Dable, there was no Harbaugh available. Who knows who the coach would have been? And that, that's revisionist history and stuff like that. But everything happens for a reason. Look at the coaching staff that we have right now in place. Look at the names that we have right now. A lot of the guys that are on the coaching staff right now were in prominent positions last year. And for whatever reason, this collection of coaches just so happened to be available for John Harbaugh to say, this is my staff, and I'm happy about it. As much as people like to joke about some of the guys that we have as coaches, as much as Tennessee fans want to laugh at us taking Callahan. So old Callahan was terrible. He was terrible as a head coach. But I remember him as a quarterback coach, and who are some of the quarterbacks that he's coached and developed? Some of the better people out there. And guess what? He's not a head coach here. He's not an offensive coordinator. No, he's a quarterbacks coach. I'm happy with that. People laughed about Greg Roman. Greg Roman was an awful offensive coordinator. He had one of the best run schemes in Baltimore, and also Herbert looked pretty good out there in LA for the Chargers. Just so happened they part ways. We have him not as an offensive coordinator. We have him as our running game coordinator. He's not calling the plays, but he's in charge of helping create the run scheme for the New York Giants. There's so much experience with this coaching staff that sometimes we really got to sit back and realize what the hell is happening. Not only did we get better as far as names on paper, again, we lost some people too, but this coaching staff that was right now, if you told me in 2027, Matt Nagy is possibly, interviewing for a head coaching job. The cornerbacks coach, D'Alessio? He might be, interviewing for a defensive coordinator. There's a lot of good coaches right now. Willie Taggart? He was a head coach in college, and now he's our running backs coach. There's so much experience in his coaching staff that I think they're going to get the best out of these players on the roster. So even though we're not a finished product when it comes to the New York Giants, you still have a coaching staff that should get the best out of these players and also develop a scheme that best fits these players and not just trying to fit players into your scheme. And do something on defense too, and not just stand there in the same position before the snap and after snap. But again, I don't want to cry with spilled milk because Bowen is gone. T-Tom says, in my opinion, get a Rodney Hampton jersey this year. Who are you talking to? Who's asking to get in jerseys, man? I'm jumping into these conversations because you guys, listen, I love the chat, man, because you guys be having conversations with yourselves in here, and sometimes it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and I love it. I love it. To see you guys go back and forth, man. I appreciate the love and support as always. This is a family reunion always. I missed you guys last week. Back like I never left. Going to be here for a while because we're getting closer and closer to real football, and the shows are just going to get better and better. I was trying to work, again, this is the 100th episode. I was trying to, work some crazy plans and trying to reach out to certain people, try to get people on the show. A lot of schedules didn't work with a lot of people. I said, you know what? The show must go on. And as long as I have you guys, the show is going to be good, and I really do believe that. So shout out to y'all for tuning in, as always. All right, let's talk about 2026 expectations, man. And again, I think a lot of you guys tune in to Late Night Giants Talk because you guys are heard in the comment section, and I try to get to as many points as possible, or as many comments as possible. And this is one of those times where I need participation from the chat. 2026 expectations. Somebody asked me a little bit earlier, what's my record total prediction for the New York Giants? I'm going to sound like a broken record because I've been saying the same thing for a few years. I give a range. Last year, my range was 7 to 10 wins, and we won 4 games last year. This year, my range is probably instead of 7 to 10, I'll say 8 to 10 wins for the New York Giants. That's where I'm at right now. I got to see a lot of things. Some people say I'm already crazy. Some people just threw their remote right now, through their phones right now when I said 8 to 10 wins. But that's where I'm at right now. That's my range, 8 to 10 wins. It all depends on if we can stop the run. That's 100% for me. Can we stop the run? Hold on a second. Look at that. Nah, you ain't gotta do that if you're watching. You ain't gotta do that yet. You know what I'm talking to. Well, it's at So expectations for 2026, man. 8 to 10 wins is where I have it. That's where I'm at right now. And I turned off the comment section. Let me go ahead and throw the comment section back up, and let me see what you guys are saying. Shout out to my man FaZe in the building. Said, what's going on, FaZe? He said, long time. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Where you been? Nova Nebula says expectations is to win. Simple. Facts. Shout out to my man Kenya in the building too, man. Michael says, we miss you too, Dash. We all love you too, Dash. Yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Love y'all, man, for sure. My man Arlon, what's going on? He said, congrats on 100. I appreciate that. Where we at? All right. So Luann says 10 and 7. Cap and Guy says 11 and 6. Anthony Cherry says 8 wins. FaZe says 8 to 10. You bugging. I'm not surprised. I remember you, FaZe. So don't tell me what it's not. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is in your opinion. Pete Weiner says Hampton is, if not for injury, would have been. Yeah. Shout out to Rodney. Rodney Hampton is the reason why I was a running back when I was a kid. Rodney Hampton. Shout out to Rodney Hampton. T-Time says 10 and 7. Shout out to my man T-Time too. Ishmael says, I'm really expecting 10 and 7 record, Big Dash. I love it. Luann says, I hate negative fans. Listen, sometimes you can't pick your family. You can always pick your friends. You can't pick your fan base, but you can pick out the people. You pick the people that you want to hang out with. For me, I love it because I won't call it being negative, pessimistic, possibly. But I love it because it keeps me grounded. So I need to hear that. I need to hear it. Now, you could feel free to hate them all you want, though, Luann. I'm not going to tell you how to feel at all. Ace Boogie says next season, Cowboys 12 and 5, Commanders 10 and 7, Eagles 8 and 9, Giants 5 and 12. You know what? Ace Boogie, this is for you, Ace Boogie. This is for
away from me, you crumb. You're a real crumb bum. Put that on camera. You're a crumb bum, the three of you. And you're a crumb creep coward.
Shout out to my man Ace Boogie, man. That's for you, man. That's for you. What was that? Pete Weiner says 12 and 5. Michael says 9 to 10 wins this year. Dash. FaZe says, do you think they can target hold on. Do you think they're gonna target Dart and Scat this year at Big Dash? I hope not. What do you mean by target them? What do you mean? What do you mean by target them? You mean like other teams are going to go after them? Dirty plays or something like that? That's what you're saying? Let me know. I need a little bit more clarity on that comment. Soul Glow says 8 to 10 wins and don't choke in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Being able to stop the run and completing games will help the New York Giants a lot. Shout out to Cap and God. He says if we can go 9 and 7 with Dable, we can definitely go 11 and 6 with Harbaugh. Yeah. Especially with a better roster. Absolutely. Yeah. And especially when you're building this team to run the ball too. Yeah. You just got to be able to stop the run too. I'm with you. Rev says 8 to 10 sounds good. Craig says Big Dash, know the future 8 wins at least. That's where I'm at, man. I mean, listen, we can't have another season like we had last year, of course. And again, just off the coaching alone and the moves that were made and the people that we added, it just makes sense. It just makes sense to me. But again, I've been wrong before. But right now, I'm standing 10 toes down on 8 to 10, for real. And if we get if shout out to my man Lou too, man. If we can get to 11 and 6, it's a celebration out here. Michael Eatley says 2 sleepers, Jack Kelly and Bobby Jamison Travis. I didn't even get a chance to talk about him this episode. But yes, I talked to when I was on the stream with Bobby Skinner. We talked about Jack Kelly. And again, I don't expect Jack Kelly to be heavy in the rotation. I expect him to make his impact on special teams. On the other hand, when it comes to Bobby Jamison Travis, he has a real chance to be pretty much a rotational player that's getting a decent amount of snaps. When you look at this defensive line group, and we have some older players too, and we got some guys with some question marks, Bobby Jamison Travis has a chance to be heavy in the rotation. I like his skill set. Shout out to Bobby Skinner too for that. Luann says, according to ESPN, Giants and Cowboys will be on top of the division, and I believe it. Listen, so when it comes, ESPN is tricky. Depending on what hour it is in the day and depending on what show you're watching, you might get a different story. But when they want to be positive about the New York Giants, even though they're throwing the Cowboys in there too, I'm taking it. Anything positive for the Giants, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and throw it over my shoulder too at the same time, because these guys are going to earn it. But yeah, I'm with it. T. Tom says 10-7, easy. Trisha K says 10-7. Mr. Mark says, shout out to Big Dash for being a great Giants content creator. Love the show. I appreciate that, Mr. Mark. I appreciate that. The thumbnail, you sitting there holding a tarantula. Let me know. Is that you in the picture? I'm sorry, not the thumbnail, in the profile picture. Is that you in your hand with a tarantula crawling on it? Let me know, Mr. Mark, please. Hunter says hip hop. Oh, so hip hop. Good Lord. Hip drop on Scatterboo last year. Never called. Yeah. And they had a chance to review it and they didn't call it. Pissed me off, man. Dirty play. I mean, dirty play, man. Zach Bond. Dirty play. Zach Bond had that first meeting, Giants versus Eagles Thursday night. I understand why Bond felt that way. What Scatterboo did to Bond a few times. In that first meeting, yeah, but still don't be dirty at the end, and that was absolutely dirty. Gangstar says 11-6 and win the Super Bowl. Let me tell you something right now. If the New York Giants go 11-6 and win the Super Bowl in 2026, somebody gonna have to come get me. Somebody gonna have to come get me, come check on me. Yeah. yeah. Hunter says depends on your definition of negative. And listen, you know what negative is. You know pessimistic and negative is a thin line between love and hate. We know it. And then also you can add hater to that as well. And I don't believe anybody in here is a hater. I'm just saying we've dealt with a lot. We got some PTSD when it comes to the New York Giants, and we tend to be pessimistic or negative. Some of us, not me. I look at the brighter side of things. Glass half full to me might be half empty to other people. It's just how you look at things. Shout out to my man Jonathan Pride in the building. I see you. Ronnie Jones says no win totals, but I do believe that we will be better this year than last year. We now have a team of playmakers. We have a team too, and not just a collection of players. We're putting a team together with a purpose and a plan and a scheme. We didn't go out there and get a fullback for no reason. We didn't go out there and get CC Maui Noah at guard for no reason. When we could have picked up Final or somebody like actually Final was going first, right? Final was going first. I didn't want Final though. But you got big offensive linemen for a reason, because you want to run the ball. We didn't go out there and pick that bum Daniel Falele for no reason. We picked him because he's 400 pounds. And if he does get your hands on you, it's a problem. Now his problem is getting his hands on you too. So, we'll see what happens with that. It's 50-50. 50-50. Old school Giants, what's going on? Salute to the old school Giants in the building. It says 11-7. 11-6, you mean? 11-6, you mean? Because it's 11-7 mean we made it to the playoffs and lost a game in the playoffs. A crumb bump, that clip is hilarious, man. I had to clip it up, man. I had to clip it up. Illegal hits, and that's a fact. 12-5 Super Bowl champs. I'm here for all that. Y'all in here wild, man. Y'all going after Ace Boogie. I'm just now seeing that. I'm trying to get caught up, man. I'm trying to get caught up. Hey, Jonathan Pride, man. Are you laughing at the clip? Let me know. That clip is hilarious, man. I had to cut it up a little bit too. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall, man. He says for the 18 months. I appreciate it. Thank you for the love and support as always, man. He says nowhere to go but up. Now I appreciate that. Jonathan Pride said I'm out. Shout out to my man Jonathan Pride in the building, man. I'm telling you. Mr. Mark says the tarantula lived to be 18 years old. Shout out to you, man, and that tarantula. Shout out to you and the tarantula, man. R.I.P. to the tarantula. I'm a little bit hesitant to ask. What was the name of the tarantula? What was the name of the tarantula, man? 18 years, man. That's longer than some dogs, man. I'm curious. I'm curious. What was the name of the tarantula, man? Church K says, Dash, we're going to the Super Bowl this year. I hope so, man. I hope so. Sean Jackson says, is Ace Boogie a Cowboys fan? I don't think so. Maybe though. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure though. Captain God says Eagles will be trash this year. We'll have to beat up the Cowboys at best. Listen, I like what the Cowboys did this offseason. They actually they put some things together, man. I'm not mad at the draft that they had. I'm not mad at the free agency and the trade moves that they did a lot of things. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be tough. I love week 1 though. I like our chances still. Luann said, Dash, you're funny. Thank you. I mean, wasn't trying to be too funny. I'm just, maybe it's natural. Pete Weiner says, starting from the bottom, now we here, just like the Knicks, baby. Listen, I would love to have a Cinderella season like the Knicks did. I would love it. I will absolutely love it. 100%, man. 100%. I'm waiting to see what the name of this damn tarantula is, though. I really want to know what was the tarantula's name, and his name better not have been Tarantula or Mr. Tarantula. Shout out to my man Papa Joe is in the building. What's going on, Papa Joe, man? Hold on. Do I have one?
I can't help it.
Shout out to Papa
that
Joe.
I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good.
I can't do that because you know what? They'll copyright me, so I can't give you too much of the Ric Flair. But shout out to Papa Joe in the building with the $5 super chat. How you been, Papa Joe? He says, I am with Hall. Okay, we're going up. What's up, Dash? NFC East champs, then the Super Bowl. I got you. I got you. Shout out to Papa Joe in the building, man. Glad to see that you're doing good. How the grandkids doing? Let me know. How everybody doing. Shout out to the whole Papa Joe family. Captain Guy says, I had a couple of pitties that lived over. Okay. A couple of pitties lived over 17 years. Okay. All right. Jackie says, my dog is named Big Blue, Great Dane. That's fantastic. At some point in time, I'll probably get a dog again. I ain't had a dog since I was actually, I'm lying. But at some point in time, when I get a little bit older, I'm maybe a Rottweiler, maybe a German Shepherd. When I'm retired and all that, get old with a dog. Absolutely. And that's the one thing too, man, because like I said, my wife wants a dog. Kids want dogs. I don't want the heartbreak of the dog dying, man. You know what I mean? That's tough. Dogs live long enough, they become parts of the family, become a family member. And then when they go, you lose a part of the family. That's the part I'm scared of, man. That's the part I'm scared of. Mr. Mark said his name was Golden Knee. I did not expect that. Golden Knee. That's a hell of a name for a tarantula. That's a hell of a name. Listen, where we at now? We're almost at the 2-hour mark, so we're at that part of the show. And shout out to the 102 people still in the building. Again, make sure you hit that like button. We are at this part of the show for the people that come to the family reunion every Saturday, Late Night Giants Talk. That's what we call it, the family reunion. We have hit this part of the show. Where it goes off the rails. And we start having some conversations just to be having them because we're having a good time. How the hell did you come up with Golden Knee for a tarantula? I understand why, because I'm looking at the pictures, and yes, the hairs on the tarantula is brown and golden looking. I'm assuming that's where you got it from. But what makes you even think about that? And shout out to you, because again, I don't do spiders, man. I can't do it. I don't do spiders. But listen, more power to you. And don't they shoot hairs? Pause. I don't even think I need to pause that for real though. My man said Golden Knee is crazy. Shout out to Golden Knee though, man. Man lived Golden Knee, boy, girl, I don't know, lived 18 years. 18 years is listen. I had a friend that had a goldfish that lasted like 7 years, I swear. He made it from elementary all the way to high school. He had the same goldfish. And that was something miraculous because it was a flea market goldfish. And you know, when you get a flea market, sometimes get a fish from the flea market. For those that ever shopped at flea markets, sometimes the fish didn't even make it the ride home. And that fish lived 7 years. So a tarantula, 18 years. Shout out to you, man. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I get a tortoise, because I know for a fact if I get a tortoise, it's gonna outlive me. Tortoises can live almost 200 damn years, man. That way I ain't got to worry about my animal dying, man. Maybe I get a tortoise, a turtle or a tortoise that can do that. 5 deadly venoms. Where did that come from? Shout out to the people that actually know what that is too. 5 deadly venoms, classic kung fu movie. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I try to show my kids 5 deadly venoms. They got about 5 minutes into it, and it was like, nah, Dad, I can't do it. I can't do it. I remember as a kid, I was glued to it. Shout out to Joseph Wilcox with the $5 super chat. Says my 3 kids moved out, left the dog. Okay. 3 years later, he passes after 15 years. It was tough at 72. I'm telling you, that's one of the things that I'm scared of, man. Is that. Pete Wine says I used to have a couple turtles. You know what's crazy? As a kid, I always wanted a turtle. But they was illegal in New Jersey to have turtles. They couldn't even sell them. Then I moved out west, and they was in every pet store. Couldn't have them in New Jersey, though. I remember that. Big Ninja Turtles fan, too, man. Man, listen. No. About to get... Nope. Jekyll says, my Pit and Great Dane are best friends, or the best of friends. Cool. Michael says, golden knee is crazy, Dash. That means his knees are special because he is on his... Stop, Mike. You never told me what you was drinking unless I missed it too, but you definitely sipping something, man. What? Mike, how do you even think of that? Like that's crazy. Mr. Mark says he said I heard a turtle soup tastes better. Yeah, we off the rails, man. We off the rails. Pete says I still had a turtle in Jersey. You probably just went outside and caught one because it was all over New Jersey, man. You probably went outside. You ain't buy that turtle. You probably just caught it and kept it. Ismail says 10-7 Big Dash win the Super Bowl 2. That will make my 2026. That will make. Listen, that's not only making my 2026, 2027. That's making. I'm happy to at least 2035. Cap and God, I was trying not to go there, Cap and God. I was trying not. Listen, every now and again, I still throw on the original Ninja Turtle movie. Every now and again, I still throw it on. Ninja Turtles might have been the best adaptation. That first one, the best adaptation of a cartoon ever. And I thought I was happy for when X-Men finally got a live action movie in 2000. I thought that was the best thing ever. But when I go back, that first Ninja Turtles movie. Let me ask you this, Captain Guy. Right? Did you own the Ninja Turtle movie on VHS? Let me know that. And I think you might know where I'm going. Anybody, Pete too, because Pete, you know what time it is in the show. Did you own the Ninja Turtle movies, the VHS? Did you own that? Let me know. I got a question. Anybody, answer this question for me. Did you own the Ninja Turtles movie as a kid? The wasn't no DVDs then. The VHS. Did you own it? I got to get it. I got to get at least one yes before I ask this question. Fighter's Destiny says yes, right? When you let me get one more yes, but owned all 3 on V. Okay, let me add for the people that had Ninja Turtle 1, the first Ninja Turtles live action, right? Before the movie started, there was a commercial when you first put it on. What was that commercial for the people that are really down with the Ninja Turtles, man? What was the commercial at the beginning of the movie? Shout out to my man Ishmael. He says, thank you, Big Dash, for everything and for the laughs too. Good night. Yeah, we getting out of here, man. I got about 5 minutes left. I'm getting out. I have not eaten dinner yet, and I gotta eat. Tyrone Hall says need a Submariner movie. Prince Neymar. It might happen. They already put him in a movie. My man JJ the King said, what my man Jay saying that too, man? He said, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles VHS. I forgot which one though. I'm about to, and you guys are gonna sit here. He said mine was for the pizza throw. Listen, if you had the Ninja Turtles movie, there was a commercial in the beginning of the movie. It was a baseball commercial. A Pizza Hut commercial, but it was a baseball commercial, Little League Baseball. And it was a song. I wish I could find the clip. Actually, hold on. Pete, listen. Hold on. Because now I'm gonna try to find it, and we're gonna end out. Yeah. Hold on. Bear with me. Let me go. All right, let's see something. And I don't want to hear nobody laughing about. Hold on, I don't want nobody laughing about me having regular YouTube. I don't pay for the premium. My family got the package, but I still like the commercials myself. But hold on. Let me go ahead and minimize this. Hold on a second. Let me. All right. Let me see where I'm at. He said chicken wrap. Yeah, hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Remind a few people, man. And we getting out of here after this, man.
Off in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's strikes on the batter, some runners are on. Then suddenly everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wondering, what could it be? They point to the sky and I look up above, and a baseball falls into my glove. I
getting out of here, man.
Right field. It's important you know. You gotta know how to catch. You gotta know how to throw.
And I just realized that one of those kids was a kid from Mighty Ducks. That's another movie. But yeah, man, that's it, man. We getting out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for vibing tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys do that. We'll be back here next week for another edition of Late Night Giants Talk. Again, I appreciate everybody, man. Y'all have a good night. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.